That's right. Hi, everyone.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
what's going on, Joe?
I'm playing Chrono Trigger. What's going on with you,
That
Eric?
sounds like fun. That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, it is. So far, I'm having fun with it. So I should say that before we start talking, because I think probably this is going to be noteworthy to people who are listening. Today was the first actual day of E3, and so there's been press
2015.
conferences. Yes, press conferences and stuff, including the Square press conference, which I think we're probably going to talk about as I resume my game here. Um, I'm trying to remember what we were
I didn't
doing.
actually see anything from the Square. I'm still
Well,
catching up from yesterday's press conferences. I was watching the Giant Bomb guys talk over the press conference,
yeah,
or I would guess I was listening to it because I really don't care enough to watch, generally
to
speaking.
actually
But
watch. Yeah, I clue me in. What was I doing? We dropped that rock,
yeah,
that
you killed
giant
the
floating
thing.
rock,
Yeah, that's right. The tower. Oh, I forget what it's called. I always forget what the
right?
name of that giant
City in the
floating
sky
mountain
or
is.
whatever it is,
It's a floating mountain or something like
right?
that.
And
You killed the Gaia guy, I guess, or Giga guy, I
right,
guess.
yeah. So now, do we get back in the 6-4 and roll to another time period? I don't remember what somebody told us to do something, but I don't remember what that thing. Well, oh, we have to go back to this city in the sky, right? Because we pissed
Yes.
somebody off.
Well, I mean, Dalton was mad, and Queen's pretty mad.
Yeah. So do we? Well, no. So we don't want to time travel. Then we need to get back.
No, you got to take the Sky Bridge.
Right. Right. Okay. That's right. So yeah. So the Square Enix teaser for their press conference included a few strains of music from this game, and then there was nothing Chrono related in the actual thing. Which I now like. I can now be upset about that.
What's that? That they would tease you, or
That
that
they
they
would
would
tease me with Chrono Trigger and then not deliver.
Fuck that. I don't fucking want Modern Square to put out anything Chrono Trigger related. I just want them just let this stand as it is, and um not I just don't want them to fuck with it.
That's also, a reasonable tack. I don't think there's anything there that I need to actually do. I
I
think
know,
it.
like I think we've talked about Chrono Cross enough probably for this show, but on earlier episodes of this, but like that game was totally fine and very well received in its day, but it has not aged well, and I feel like anything that they put out that was Chrono related at this point it would be an optimistic view to think it would fare as well as Chrono Cross did.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make a bold statement here, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. But with
Uh-huh.
very few exceptions, I'm going to say that PlayStation era RPGs have aged like utter garbage.
Yep. The two Suikoden games.
Even doesn't Suikoden 2 like kind of buggy and shit?
Yeah. So I'm in a very small camp that likes the first one more than the second one, but most people will say that the second one is it's so the first game is like maybe a 25-hour RPG if you try to do everything, and the second one is like a 50-hour like redo of the first one.
Okay.
Um, which is like, but some people, like just the scale and the scope of the second one sort of outdoes it. And there's some good writing and some good characters and stuff in the second one too. But I like the first one. I like 25 hours is about the right amount of time I think for an RPG like that, and especially with like that game has 101 characters in it, right? Like that's the big selling point on the box. And
Right.
when you're meeting 101 different characters that you can recruit for your castle, and not all of them, but like the majority of them will also become party members. It's like it means that the game moves very snappy. Like there's always something new happening. You're always bumping into new people and getting into new situations. Um, and the second one just feels a little bit kind of drawn out compared to the first one. And does have some bugs. There's like a whole village that didn't get
Oh,
translated.
right. They don't. Is it they don't speak at all, or like?
I think so. I don't remember. I forget now. It's been a long time since I played Suikoden 2.
I'm gonna
Although
see.
I guess I could actually do it now because it's
It's like $5 on PlayStation Network,
yeah.
or $6 or something.
I don't know. I sold my copy for like 120 probably 6 or 7 years ago, which was stupid actually because it probably sells for more than that now. But
Yeah.
anytime I can sell an old game for more than twice what I paid for it.
Yeah, but you're not factoring in inflation in that, probably.
I no, I am because I definitely I didn't spend. I mean, if I spent like I didn't pay full price for the game, and it was like a $40 game when it came out, so I got it for $20 used, I think, something like that. So I got well over 5 times what I paid for it. I guess it's only
Fair enough.
$100 now, used from $100 on Amazon. I guess that's just for the disc, but so actually I made it out pretty well on that deal then.
Yeah.
Although I would assume before it came out on PlayStation Network, it probably was even more than $120. But anyway, that's it's good. It's good that's out and available. But I like the first one more. How did we get here? Oh, we were talking about how PlayStation era RPGs haven't aged well.
PlayStation era, the RPGs have aged like utter trash. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. I also think that people just kind of we just kind of got caught up in the hype surrounding the way Final Fantasy VII looked and
Oh, for
like
sure.
the way it was presented.
Shit, you know what? I just realized I'm not recording the game because I'm a fucking
Well,
idiot.
way to go.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna pick it up from here. I'll put an annotation in that you can skip past the 20 minutes of us just talking over what will be a static image if you want. And not 20 minutes, 5 minutes or whatever. It was like 5 minutes.
You know,
Or no, fuck it. It's fine. Not that many people have been watching this show anyways, I'll be honest. So, um, it's fine. Plus, that was a pretty decent conversation, and some people missed the podcast. So, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, we did, right? We were like, man, this game looks so great because it did at the time. But dude killed Chrono with his last fucking attack, and so I don't get the experience. What a jerk.
Peace.
Adios, dude. Is it a time gateway? Let's heal up. Let's do that.
Yeah, one hit point's probably not going to do you much good going forward here.
You know what? Actually, I got a better idea. I'm gonna go back out here, and I'm just gonna use a shelter. Yeah. I mean, I think I was certainly enamored with it, but I was also 14 years old.
Yeah.
When it came out. It came out like the first day of high school, I want to say, for me, or something like very close to the first week of high school.
Yeah.
And and I think even people who are Final Fantasy VII apologists, of which there are many,
I'll still love that game.
yeah,
Fucking crazy people.
yeah, basically. Go ahead and save. Yeah, that was the other thing. I saved over my save, so even if we'd started over, I wouldn't be able to go back any further than. So yeah. Something scary is waking up. Uh-oh. Is it Lavos? I bet it's Lavos. But I think even people who are Final Fantasy VII apologists, of which there are a great deal, aren't like, but Legend of Dragoon was so good. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm absolutely sure that if you looked around, you could find some people who'd say shit like that.
oh, I'm sure I could find some people. You can find some people who are into anything. Like, you can find
Legend of
some people.
Legia is my favorite game.
Right. You can find some people who are like, man, Jaws for the NES is the dope shit. You just don't get it. Like, that's just the nature of stuff.
Shadow Madness. How come they never released a sequel to that?
Right. Exactly.
Your hot Graveyard Studio. Oh man, I was into that. Like when the the previews were posted on EGM or NEGM back in the day. But anyway, yeah,
I
most
think
of those
most
games haven't
people,
aged very well. I
most
mean,
people
most
at this
Super Nintendo RPGs haven't aged that well either, but there's a handful of them that are really, really good still.
I bet there are more. If we listed them off, there's probably more Super Nintendo RPGs that like the gaming nerds at large
Well,
than PlayStation RPGs, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean,
I
there
don't know. I
are
mean, well, I'm trying to think. Like, so I would say that Vagrant's story probably holds up pretty well. I mean, that was a game that was made for crazy people back in 1998,
right,
and it still is for crazy people, but it's still like the mechanical foundation of that game and the way it looks and the fact that the story was really well put together and it had a fantastic translation and all that stuff. Like, I think that game would still hold up pretty well. And the two Suikoden's and um, I guess Dragon Quest VII has probably aged okay because that game looked fucking old when it came out.
right.
Um, Dragon Quest never really changes, but yeah. And then there's Super Nintendo. You get Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI and four, kind of. Although I don't. Final Fantasy IV doesn't do that much for me. That game is flawed in many different ways.
Yeah.
It's still pretty good though. But yeah, and I mean it's no coincidence that the 2D stuff holds up better. Like Alundra is still a great game. That's an action
Right.
RPG, but I
Right.
think that
It's
game
like
would still
Zelda.
probably be pretty fucking good.
PlayStation
Or like Secret of
2D
Mana.
Zelda.
Yeah.
But the Final Fantasy VII thing, like people went fucking nuts for that. I don't know if you've watched the trailer yet, which it's a non.
I'm watching it right now.
Okay.
It doesn't. It looks like a fucking FMV cutscene
Right.
from the PlayStation. Like I don't. There's nothing to take away from
It
this.
looks like an FMV. It looks like a clip from Advent Children. That's what it looks like. I think.
Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
I don't want to play that game again. I just don't care.
so my thing
But
about it, like
people have been going crazy for it, so I wish Square the best. But I don't.
my only thing about it is like, so I was thinking about it. And I was like, this is like, I don't give a shit about Final Fantasy VII, and everybody who likes it. I mean, if that's your jam, like, go you. But it has. I replayed it or tried to replay it within the last few years, and I felt like it was utter garbage. And remaking it, they could make it not utter garbage. Like,
I don't know. I
could
think
be the
that- I
game
think
we
there's
remember
some-
it as instead of the game it is.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think there's much to that.
Well, I think
Outside of-
if you,
I think
like,
there's some
I-
cool world design stuff
Right.
in that game, and I think that's the game's strength. And if they build on that, but I just didn't. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna obviously the whole script is gonna have to be overhauled and rewritten. All of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
everything has to be thrown out.
I mean, the script is
start over from scratch. Yeah, well, not just from translations. I mean, I guess a lot of it is translation stuff, but like everything about Barrett's character has to be thrown into the garbage and start over.
We can only
Yeah.
hope. That, that's a weird statue. Yeah, of course.
But even the stuff like the things that are the swerves in Final Fantasy VII, the stuff that is meant to like the story twists that were really surprising to you when you were 15 because you were 15, you hadn't seen a lot of stories like that. Like
Right.
none of that stuff is gonna work now.
And Scout lights all magic with fire.
It's just gonna be kind of lame.
Yeah, I mean, I am inclined to agree. But I don't know that for sure. Oh, that's why that was the thing I wasn't using before, because it makes Frog attack by himself.
Oh, yeah, that
why
Berserk
wasn't I
band?
using that Berserk thing before, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, because he just does whatever he wants. Put the Power Glove back on him. I love the Power Glove. It's so bad. Yeah, so... Let me get over there. What the shit? Okay. All right. One demon hit. The fuck is a demon hit?
It's a sword? Maybe an accessory?
It is. It's a sword. 2 times hit from MG enemies.
Oh, it does more damage to magical enemies, which I think is pretty useful in this dungeon.
Sounds good. Go with that. Stick with that. I can't get past that though, so let's go back this way. So yeah, I mean, the problem is I don't think like the whole thing needs an overhaul, and I just don't think they'll do it. Like, if they were like, yeah, man, fuck this materia system because it's bullshit, you know, I'd be like, cool.
Yeah, well, they can't I don't know that you can do much with that, because if you change that, then you're sort of fundamentally changing everything.
Well,
but it's just kind of I mean, it does have the upside of letting you use whatever characters you want without really having any penalty.
Well, it does, but then, like, what's the point of having different characters? Like, why have a cast
Well, then
of,
you
like,
just
13 characters or whatever?
Because then you put the dude in your party that you like the most.
I guess. But I mean, that's my biggest problem with it from a gameplay perspective. It's just, like, all the characters are interchangeable except for their limit breaks. Which, like, I mean, all those do just, like, physical damage anyways for the most part, so, like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, some people have their base stats modify their ability to use magic spells more than others and stuff like that.
A little bit, but not.
I guess you could tweak that and make it work, but I don't know. I don't want to go inside Cloud Strife's head.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
It's not. I just, you know.
That's definitely not the thing I want to do. Like, I mean, Crisis Core was good. You know what I mean? Like, that changed up the mechanics a lot. Of course, you only played as one person, if memory serves.
Right. That's a totally different thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting. We'll finally see if we'll finally see what kind of weight Final Fantasy VII really has. I have a feeling that it'll sell probably around this, like, similar to what Final Fantasy 13 sold, which was less than, like, the previous couple of Final Fantasies, but still pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Square invests in that, because
Right.
I think there's kind of a ceiling on how many. But, like, that's not going to sell almost 10 million copies, which I think the first one sold maybe it was like 8 or 9 million or something like that. Like, it's like, this isn't gonna.
It sold a boatload. I mean, I know that. I don't know how much is in a boatload, but it sold a boatload.
Somewhere between 8 and 9 million, I think. But it's just I don't know. That's fine. People have been clamoring for that for a long time, so I hope they get what they want.
Yeah, which is fair. I just I don't know. I'm.
That game's really long, and, like, all the best parts are in the very beginning of the game. Like, most of the areas after you leave Midgard are pretty generic, kind of like small towns and stuff like that, with not a hell of a lot going on. It was just sort of, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a lot to explore in those cities. Games like that, like those big JRPGs, feel really empty, especially when you compare them to something like Skyrim, or now that a game like The Witcher 3 is out, which is, you know, the world is maybe not quite as big in the way that, you know, like, you could go from overworld map to a city or whatever to explore, but, like, just the sheer volume of stuff and characters that you can interact with in a meaningful way in The Witcher 3 just makes everything in a game like Final Fantasy VII feel really small and kind of petty by comparison.
Yeah, that's definitely true, even though, like, those aren't you know, those games aren't games that I'm super into. I'm not just JRPGs at this point.
Right, you're not into.
As I play this JRPG for Let's Play.
Well, Chrono Trigger's fucking amazing, though.
Right, and I was actually going to say, like, those games feel empty compared to Chrono Trigger, which seems like the thing about this game that I'm really enjoying is that it seems like there's not a lot of, like, wasted space.
Yep.
Like, it's not like, well, we just put this big field here just so, like, the world feels bigger. You know what I mean? Like, that
spend the
sort
next
of
15 minutes running around, grinding levels, and
right.
trying to get from point A to point B, and killing the same enemies
Yeah,
dozens and dozens of times, which some people like. I mean, that's kind of where it all breaks down.
right. But I just like I don't know. That's the thing. Like that's my thing about Wind Waker, which I think you like more than me.
Hmm.
um, but it's
Yeah,
like
but
people
that's
are like the
not
world is so
grinding. That's just
vast.
fun, like just
No, but it's
chilling
like,
and sailing, man.
dude,
Just like
that was the
relaxing on the
first.
seas,
No, man, no,
going for a ride in a boat.
no. I can't go there with you.
Ah, deep, deep, breathe deep. That's crisp sea air, Joe.
Oh, I'm just like going in circles now. What the fuck am I even doing?
I don't know. You should pay attention to what you're doing. Stop
Well, I
thinking about.
am, but I'm like,
Was there anything else at the Square press conference?
most of the stuff that I saw and liked was actually not Square stuff, but like Eidos stuff. Like the new Deus Ex, the storyline is horrendously stupid.
Like kind of like the first one.
No, like even stupider. But when you say the first one, you mean human resources, or like the first one?
I mean, they're both kind of stupid.
Right,
But
right. Well, so like augmented people have been put into like they use such stupid terms like robo ghettos where they're victims of mechanical apartheid.
mechanical
And I'm like,
apartheid sounds like what happens to chickens when they're making dog food. Just
all right,
take these chicken livers and mechanically apartheid them from the chicken bodies.
yeah, no shit. So that all sounds really incredibly dumb, which is, I mean, whatever, I guess. I have no fucking clue where I'm supposed to be
That
going.
doesn't. That's
Uh,
not how that goes, though. I thought. Well, I don't know. I guess that
it's
maybe it's completely broken, completely divorced from
yeah, that's
the
because that's the
previous.
thing. Like, I thought the deal was that like the augments get better and better, and then like that's how you end up with JC Denton, who doesn't actually have like robot arms. He's just got like
Yeah.
nano bots in his blood or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the tension, like in the original Deus Ex, the tension was, well, actually, I mean, most of the character tension, like the tension between the characters that you actually talked to and interacted with, was like was be- existed because the person that you were playing as and your brother had like a like next level of technology in them, and there was a lot of friction between them and the older augmented people, like, as you know what I mean. So it was like this, like, it was a very like obvious sort of metaphor for the relationship between, like, for people as they get older and sort of get become obsolete. They're, like, not only are they like physically and mentally and becoming obsolete as they just go through the natural aging process, but also their hardware just isn't as good, and there's not really anything they can do about it. And there was like that game also had some, like, there was like broader tension between the augmented people and the people that couldn't afford them too, but it was kind of meant to be like background for the events of the game, and it wasn't really a major theme.
Right. Yeah, and that's sort of like I don't know. The thing is, the world still looks amazing. I mean, like I'm gonna play it because I don't like the like you
Yeah.
like you said the story of Human Revolution was also really fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, okay,
I gotta be honest, I barely remember what happened in that game. I just remember fucking
something Illuminati,
homicidal
something
fucking Kool-Aid
homicidal
man.
Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, actually,
Really, that's where it's at.
if that game pushed harder in like the conspiracy theory camp, I would remember more of it, because I actually remember quite a bit of story from the original Deus Ex. It was still
Yeah.
convoluted and a little silly, but there were three well-defined factions all sort of vying for control of the world, and you could kind of influence which way it went at the end of the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although by
Yeah.
influence that I mean you just sort of picked which faction you wanted
Right.
to win. But
Yeah, I mean, for me, right, it's the same as what you said. Like homicidal Kool-Aid man. Like if I can body slam a dude into another dude and make a dude kebab,
hmm
that's important to me. um, if I can just decide how I want to like play through the game, as far as like I can go through this door, I can sneak in through this air vent, or I can I can smooth talk to these people, or I can just like murder the fuck out of them. Like that's what's attractive to me about that game, not like the horrible, like bullshit, terrible,
the ability to
second-rate dime store novel story.
I mean, I don't think it's not that bad, but it's not great either.
This one looks really bad. Like, watch the trailer, and you'll just be like, "What is happening in this game? Like, what the?" Like, seriously, the person presenting it like literally said "mechanical apartheid," and like I guess it's like a trademarked phrase already. Like, it's like
that's pretty.
Like, it's pushing on this like very rudimentary, like, remember in the '60s when the X-Men was like a metaphor for civil rights?
Yeah, I was just gonna say this sounds a lot like stuff that was on the X-Men.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's just like, okay, well, yeah, but like that was like also somewhat broad in like in what it was, right. And that was 50 years ago. Like at this point, I think we need our like civil rights metaphors to be like maybe a little more nuanced than like retreading X-Men except with robots. Like so. Which like then it's like shitty Blade Runner basically, right? Like, so yeah. but again, like the everything, it looks fucking fantastic. Just visually, and
just want to be in a building and say, hey, go fucking find some vents and sneak around, or shoot a bunch of dudes, or punch a bunch of dudes, or
body slam a dude into another dude and make a dude kebab.
Yeah, that game was more interesting because of the amount of verbs that you could use to try and traverse from one area into the next. It was a shooter that was not as confined as Call of Duty or a Half-Life or whatever.
Right, exactly.
It felt like you had more means of interacting with the world and the maps that you were in than just walk forward and shoot guys.
Right.
Even though you could choose to just do that.
You could just walk forward and shoot guys if you wanted to. But that's not.
Or you could hack a turret and then carry the turret and then throw the turret into a room of guys and then have the turret kill everybody.
Kill everybody for you, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. There was a lot of. That's the thing, like that sort of separated that game, is that there were a lot of times where you could think of something cool to do and then actually go do it.
Yeah.
Like I definitely remember using like pissing off a bunch of guards in, I forget, it must have been, was there a tower or something that you visited in Montreal?
Yeah. It's like a big office building. It's like a TV station or something.
I definitely remember like kiting a bunch of guys into an office.
Yeah. Yep.
And then turning around and running out of the office, and then
using
not a turret. I used my super strength to put a vending machine in front of the door, and they just couldn't get out.
Oh, nice.
I just trapped them in there for eternity.
There is definitely a room where you can like pick up it, like where it's like a choke.
Yeah, there's
and you can just like pick up a turret and like set it down in the middle of the room, and they'll all like come in and just get like chopped up by the turret.
I think I definitely did that, and I also did a thing where I would carry a turret like onto the second flight, yeah. Most of the staircases in that game had like 2 flights. You would go up and then turn and then go up another flight of stairs to get to the second floor. And so you could put a turret right on that second, like that landing between the 2 flights of stairs, and you could just kite dudes in there, and then the turret would just mow them down. Yeah. The AI was really dumb in that game, but that actually made it more fun. Yeah, definitely forward to that. Hopefully that's another game that could be a little shorter, though.
Yeah.
I felt a little long on the tooth by the time I got to the end of it. And I also I had all of the upgrades at a certain point.
Right, yeah, you get to the point where like you fill out pretty much everything. It's like, okay, well, I can do whatever. I can literally play this game however I want now. Which I guess by the end of the game, like, sort of makes sense that you would be that. But it sort of, I guess in the early game you are committed to a certain skill tree, which I guess is fine. But so they showed that, and they showed Just Cause 3, which looks great. If you're into like grappling up to helicopters, and well, now they added a thing where you can like detach your grappling hook, so you can grapple like 3 helicopters into each other, and they'll just like crash into each other and like fall to the ground, which that's a thing I'm into.
I never played much of Just Cause 2, but There's a certain like I have a certain tolerance level for open world mayhem, and I forget what game I had played just before that came out, but I kind of bumped up against it and then just sort of missed it.
Was it Saints Row 3?
It might have been Saints Row 3. I don't. Did Just
That's
Cause 2 come
definitely,
out the same year as Saints Row 3?
I don't know. I feel like maybe, or maybe not. Maybe it came out before that.
It was out before that. I don't remember.
But they showed that, which yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I've had some good open world mayhem. Although like Metal Gear Solid 5 is certainly promising like a lot of open world mayhem. So
Yeah, I have no idea what I think about that.
I was sort of skeptical. Um,
I
I
haven't
was
again. I haven't seen if there's new footage or whatever.
there's a new trailer, and there were a bunch of like Bob Mackey wrote a preview of it where he played like, I don't know, 20 hours of it or something, and it was like, this game is so good, it's like everything I ever wanted Metal Gear to be, basically. And also like all the long chatty parts from Metal Gear 4 like are not to be found here.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like that's an integral part of the Metal Gear Solid experience, though. I want.
really
Can I have both?
doesn't have to be.
Can I have David Hayter saying "huh" a bunch of times, and also have a cool open world where I can shoot dudes? I guess.
Well, you're not
It'll
Kiefer
be.
Sutherland now.
Yeah, we'll see how it all
Saying,
plays out.
huh.
I'm still not entirely convinced that that wasn't some kind of a swerve, but
Yeah, well, my theory is that this game ends with, like, uh, like the beginning of Metal Gear 1, like, and David Hayter is Solid Snake, like, in the last, whatever.
maybe. But
Like,
I mean, he was
5 minutes.
he was Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 3 too. He played Big Boss in
Yeah,
that game.
he did. Well, I can
So
tell you this. I mean, I played through
and
Ground
they're
Zeroes, which
clones, so
isn't
they
very
should really
long.
have the same, you know.
They should. But I
But it's
played,
smoke, so even that wouldn't explain it.
right?
That's why I wonder if there's something weird going on with the.
Well, I mean, there's always something weird going on when it comes to Metal Gear.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
in Ground Zeroes, it's definitely Kiefer Sutherland the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
But he doesn't say a whole lot, you know.
he doesn't talk very much. That's true. But yeah, I mean, so they showed, Just Cause 2. They also showed a new Hitman game, which like Hitman is weird for me because it's a thing that like in theory I feel like I would be into, but like in practice, like I am never into.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just always like, oh yeah, that looks like it would be fun.
Watch your health on those statues, because I think they hit you with those fireballs and they drain your health.
Okay.
I want one of these staffs that these guys has. Also had a hell of a flag crew back in their high school days.
I'm sure, man. Color guard. It must have, yeah, hell of a color.
Yeah, we didn't have one of those, so I couldn't remember what the fuck it was called.
Did you have a marching band?
Nope.
Just no.
I think there was I think that the band was just the marching. I mean, I went to a really small high school, so I think that occasionally the high school band would get together and march. But I don't think that there was a
And at
dedicated
that moment, they
marching.
were a marching band.
Yeah, my brother played tuba, and so they busted out the marching tuba.
That's a sousaphone, I believe.
No, I think it was I think for him, I think all they had was a marching tuba. I don't think that they had there is a difference between those two instruments. Like a sousaphone is similar to a tuba and was invented to be like a portable tuba, but there is just like a marching tuba as well.
All right, that's fair. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert in.
I'm not an expert either,
brass
but
instruments.
I've just There is it's just like a tuba but smaller, where a sousaphone has kind of a different, like the way the horn of a sousaphone comes out, and like a tuba, the horn always points out, whatever the fuck it's called. I know it's not called a horn because that's something else, but the bell end of the tuba points up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas a sousaphone, it like points, it like the whole thing comes up and points outward. It's different.
Gotcha. All right.
Anyway,
So the Queen is using the Mammon machine to suck out the life force of Lavos, apparently, and Shala is upset about it. And they'll be immortal when Zealous. Mwahaha. Anytime anybody laughs like that, it's a bad sign. If someone says mwahaha, it's never a good sign. Ever. Okay, I guess I'll kill these dudes before I use that save point. No, because these dudes are easy.
Those guys are spinning so fucking fast.
They are.
Well, that's why they're easy to kill, because they're super dizzy.
Like, I am so... It's like when, you know...
You put a bat on the ground and then
right. Yeah, exactly.
And then try
to
hit each other with
baseball.
water balloons or whatever.
Or that, yeah. Yeah, it's exactly like that. But yeah, everything. So the square, and then they showed the new Tomb Raider, which actually looks. I didn't really dig the last one, like a lot of people really did. I was very lukewarm on Tomb Raider 2013.
It was a little too much.
But this one looks like it's actually like you're actually raiding tombs.
Yeah.
Like it looks like Uncharted, except the lady basically is like what the new one looks like, which is.
There's a certain tone I want from Tomb Raider, like a certain quietness, and like the new one just didn't have that. It was a little too crazy. I mean, it's fun. I actually think I would have liked that game more if it just hadn't been called Tomb Raider.
Yeah, maybe. It just but I got a little ways into it, and I was just like, "There's no like." I mean, I'm okay with the story of this girl who's in this like shitty situation, and like, there's all these fucking dudes around who are like nefarious, but like, I'm just like, there's not like this is not what I want from a Tomb Raider game. Like,
you don't want nefarious dudes.
No,
you know, all of
dudes,
these,
like,
you're kind of wrecking these guys that you're fighting because you have Frog with a magic sword. Yeah. But all these guys are tied to different elements, and if you do like the single elemental damage to each one of them, you'll beat them really quick.
Yeah, I picked up on that, but I've got there's Frog with the magic sword, so there's just been sort of like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna like do it that way. Yeah, so I guess I'll.
I don't actually. Maybe these guys aren't that bad. There might be like you'll fight through the ocean palace near the end of the game, and I think there's more difficult versions of guys like this that might wreck you if you don't use elemental. I think they make counter with spells every time you don't hit them with the proper element.
I tried hitting them with like the wrong element, and
that revives their health, right?
Yeah.
Or regenerates their health, or revives their health. I mean, yes, that I think we're kind of on the same page with that. And also, like, just all the marketing around that Tomb Raider game really left a bad taste in my mouth. And I know that people have said that it was not like it, didn't live up to the marketing in that really gross sort of way. But
which is weird because it wasn't like the best-selling Tomb Raider game like ever.
I don't know about that, but I know it sold very well, but it did not sell as well as it was projected to sell, and thus was considered kind of a failure. Because Square is in a weird place where Square Enix is in a weird place where they make a bunch of stuff that doesn't sell very well, and then they need to make it all up on one big game, and then when that fails, to sell as many as they want it to, it's like considered kind of a failure, even though it still sold several million copies or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Video games are weird, man.
It's true.
The business of the businesses that sell big AAA budget titles is fucking weird.
It's a weird business model.
It doesn't seem like a very good business model either.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, oh, that was weird. Speaking of weird.
It's a ghost. Probably.
It was a mage throwing weird, like, energy balls at our robot Method Man. But it looks, I mean, it's what I would like from a Tomb Raider game. Like, she's in this mountainous area where, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like Machu Picchu or whatever the fuck. Like,
there are mountains in Machu Picchu.
Lost city, like snowy, treacherous mountains and a lost city in the center, and like it's just it's like what you want from Tomb Raider.
Sure. And I don't want people around. I just want to be out by myself, hanging
It
out.
seems like there are a couple, like there are some people
I want to shoot some tigers.
for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
shoot
totally.
a bunch of tigers. Fuck tigers. I can kill all.
I'm gonna
the
kill
tigers.
2 of these things by just using lightning on all of them.
I don't want big crazy set pieces. I just want like quiet exploration. But
Oh shit.
yeah. Anyway, but you know that I wonder if those Lasher guys are named after this Anne Rice book by the same name.
Fuck, that was a bad idea because they all do use counter magic when you, if you use a magic
Use the
that
wrong
doesn't-
magic.
yeah. So all 4 of
Did you
them
just get wiped?
I just got wiped. Yeah.
Fantastic.
At least I remembered to save at the last save point this time.
I didn't warn you about
Unlike
that.
previous episodes. So just getting back on this elevator and doing the last couple fights again, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, and to that end, also during the Sony conference, of course, they showed off the new Uncharted, which looks just fantastic to me.
Sound like it is.
I would say play 2. 2 is really
Yeah,
good.
you and Carter both told me that. I just I don't want to just run around shooting a bunch of dumb guys.
Okay, that's, I mean, understandable.
Unless I can do it with mechanical cyborg arms,
Right.
I guess.
I mean, that's the thing about the Uncharted games, like, the best parts of those games have nothing to do with running around and shooting dudes. And, you know, sometimes, like, I think 2 had the best gunplay and, like, was the most restrained with it. That was kind of the problem with 3, is it would just, like, push you into this, like, kill box, and it would be like, okay, you did some cool traversal stuff, or you ran away from a thing, or you, like, did a set piece where you drove a car, whatever the fuck you did, and, like, now you have to murder, like, 75 dudes. And that's, like, not very fun. It's basically, like, what the deal is.
So, were you paying attention when I looked up the word Lasher,
Yeah.
which is one of the enemies you've been fighting? It's called Lasher, and that is the title of a Anne Rice novel
Uh-huh.
from 1993.
You
So,
mentioned that.
yeah.
Is it a vampire? The Lasher?
The second novel in her series, Lives of the Mayfair Witches. So it sounds like there's probably some sexy witches in this book.
Who doesn't love sexy witches?
I don't know.
And then Square Enix also showed a bunch of like Square Enix-y as fuck shit. Like they showed like 2 Final Fantasy things. No, 3 Final Fantasy things.
Along comes the sexually adventurous Mona Mayfair, a precocious teenager and powerful witch, and Rowan's cousin sharing lines of descent from Julian. You know, Julian?
Of course, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's how you get to a Rowan, is from a Julian. She seduces Michael, causing him his cousin? What? Oh no, it's Rowan's cousin, sorry. Causing him to snap out of his stupor and renew his vow to find his wife at all costs. Wait a minute, so he fucks this other witch, and then he's this teenage witch, and then he's like, I gotta find my wife?
Sounds legit. I don't see what your problem is, man.
Oh, fuck, man. You get a hot, sexy teenage witch? Just like fucking... I mean, I assume that she's like 18 or 19? One of the legal teens?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Let's assume that for safety's
Yeah.
sake. For not being gross sake. I don't know. I don't know that I ever actually read an Anne Rice novel.
Yeah, me neither.
I read a few Poppy
though it
Z.
was
Bright
she
novels, which are also
who
like,
has spirited her mutant child Lasher away from the house. She is now a prisoner of the monster she has spawned.
Sounds good. Yeah, I read a couple Poppy Z. Bright novels in high school, and that
Who
Poppy.
is.
So, I believe he. at
Shouldn't it
this
be
point-
Poppy B. Bright?
I believe he's a trans man at this point, but when I was reading his books, he was a woman.
Okay.
And there's just a lot of sex in those books. Like they're vampire novels that are also like borderline porn, and which is fine. There's also like a lot of gay sex in those books, which is also fine. But it's like when I was like 16, I was like, this is kind of weird. There's a lot of dudes fucking dudes in these
Gross.
books.
Dudes touching. Ew. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like just a lot of like weird musical references.
I was too busy reading shitty fantasy novels during that time.
I read a
wizards
couple of
and
those,
dragons
but,
and stuff.
Yeah, well, I was reading.
I read all
vampire
of the
novels.
Shannara books.
Oh man, I had a PC game that was based on those books.
Yeah. How was that bad?
It was like an adventure RPG kind of thing. So like I got to a point where like I couldn't, whatever puzzle I needed to solve to like move on, I just couldn't fucking figure it out. And I was just like,
I think that by the time I got a PC that was capable of running video games, I realized that that game would not be what I wanted, and I was also, I think, growing out of my crappy fantasy novel phase. Like the Shannara books are basically just Lord of the Rings, except instead of it being Middle Earth, which is like before the current age, like there's a lot of hints in those books that it's like a return to magic after the modern era.
Okay.
There's like, I know in one of the books they visit like a city that is described in a way that sounds like a post-apocalyptic, like New York or Paris or something, like a modern city that's been set to ruins and is nothing but like huge buildings that are just emptied out, hollowed out husks.
Holy shit, dude. So speaking of that, that reminds me of another E3 thing. Did you see any of the Sony stuff?
No, I'm saving all my E3 stuff for tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Well, so that'll be.
I want to talk about the Square stuff since it's relevant.
Yeah. But so the Sony stuff,
I did. I watched the Last Guardian trailer.
Did you watch the trailer of the new Guerrilla Games game, Horizon? I think it's called.
I don't think so.
Oh my god! So it starts out as like I'm certain that whoever pitched this concept was fucking baked out of their mind at the time. So there's this like tribe of sort of like ancient-ish looking people, like tribal, like not cave people, but like hunter-gatherer people, and they're like out hunting, and it's like, okay, man, like what's gonna happen? And like no shit, like giant robot dinosaur appears.
Yeah, either that or it's just it's like somebody found a lost pitch for like a cartoon from 1987.
Yeah, it's just like I'm just like blown away by this. Like I'm just like, who was like, yeah, man, let's do that. Like it'll be like that's so far in the future that everything's fucked up, and so they're gonna hunt robot dinosaurs. I'm like,
that's pretty cool to me. Is there meat on them bones?
No,
are they
man,
hunting them for
robots.
sustenance?
No,
or they're just
dude,
killing them to live, or
like
they're killing them for their parts, or is it just a survival thing?
It's just like it seems like it's just a survival thing, but they're like out, like they're hunting them. It's super weird looking. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I'm into it. Did you see the robot dog game from the Recore?
Yep.
The Microsoft thing. That actually.
Yeah, man. I'm into the robot dog thing. That's a Keiji Inafune jam.
Yeah.
And apparently him and whoever, it's like the people who used to be at Retro Studios, some people who used to be at Retro Studios, they were working on like some Mega Man X spin-off, and so like I guess the theory is like this is sort of like the pieces of what was this like Mega Man X spin-off thing. Yeah, that looked pretty cool. But so getting back to Square Enix, since that's more on topic, they finally showed Kingdom Hearts 3, and I was like, how did we not get to Kingdom Hearts 3?
It's not a Kingdom Hearts like 3 1/3, like Naked Gun. Kingdom Hearts 33 1/3.
Right.
Starring Leslie Nielsen. You traipse through all the various National Lampoon's properties. Oh man, fucking I want it.
No, but it's like I was.
Joe, I got a really good idea for a video game. So you're a guy, and you visit
Leslie
all
Nielsen,
of the
you're
National
looking
Lampoons.
for the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Chevy
Chevy Chase is there. It's Christmas.
Nice. Sounds good. Yeah, but it's just like the Kingdom Hearts thing is sort of. I should actually save just in case. Um, the Kingdom Hearts thing just sort of loses me because like I don't really like I played the first one a little bit, but like the appeal is largely lost on me. Hey, it's Dalton. Didn't I kill you already, or did you just like teleport away or whatever?
Yeah. So I don't, would you rather have? Would you rather have the game where you go through all the National Lampoon's franchises, or all the Zucker Abrams and Zucker franchises?
Well, the Basketball is a Zucker Abrams and Zucker, and so is Kentucky Fried Movie. So I think
Those two things are not in the same.
I think it needs to be that.
The Hot Shots movies.
Were those Zucker Abrams Zucker?
Hot Shots? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah. I think they did some of the scary movies too. Or,
Like the
I don't know.
first.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so they copied my tech, which I don't think it copies physics.
Yeah, if you hit them, I think with whatever you hit them with is what they hit you with, I believe. That iron ball is, I think that does half your hit points. So
Yeah, it does. We're gonna triple up on these fuckers.
watch your health.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Math better protect his own neck.
Yes, indeed. Agreed. Oh, Snoop. No, Snoop. Fortunately, I have some revives. And we'll get meth on that heal beam, yo. Oh, I don't like that at all. You dick. Well, shit.
Let that one get a little bit away from you.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
New Star Ocean.
Yeah, New Star Ocean. That's a thing that I'm sorry, I definitely don't care about that.
I played, there was a fan translation of the original Super Famicom one that I played a long time ago that I thought that was pretty good. The PlayStation era one was there was just too many systems. Like there was like a really in-depth cooking system, and there was a whole bunch of different stuff. And
A cooking system, huh?
yeah, there was a lot of stuff you could buy in towns and from vendors that you could then cook and make into other items. There was a lot of that was the systems era where you just were throwing as many different menu options into games that had interfaces and control control hardware that was not meant to be navigating that many menus. Actually, I sometimes wonder if a lot of those games would not have been more fun if you could have played them with a mouse or a touch screen or something, where it just would have been more. All the menu stuff would not have seemed so inscrutable.
This goes back to that thing that that we were saying about PlayStation era RPGs.
Yeah.
Which is just that they have not aged.
They were fucking crazy. Soccer Frontier and Soccer Frontier 2, man, those games are fucking impossible to understand.
I played the first one, and I hated that.
The second one is a lot better than the first one, and it's a little bit easier to follow, although it kind of jumps around in the timeline quite a bit, and you play as just 2 different characters as opposed to 8 different characters, and you kind of like jump from timeline to timeline. In a way that makes a little more sense, but the way that the characters level and stuff is makes those games real hard to play.
Yeah. Motherfucker.
They copied your physics homework. Yo, dog. I was out getting mad drunk last night. Can I borrow your physics homework? I just want to copy that shit.
Fuck. Give me some hot tips here, man. I'm getting fucking mowed down. My plan that time was just to have fucking Method Man healing, and like that didn't even work. Like I just got fucking destroyed before I could even like
I don't know, go back and level some more. Jeez.
Twice. I thought you said I didn't have to do that in this game.
There you go. I think you would need help with this fight. Like, this one's not. I always had more trouble with the Giga Gaia or the Gaia Giga or whatever the hell that thing was.
I will frog squash the shit out of you guys.
That's not gonna do much unless your health is really low. I think that all that damage, like if Frog has 1 hit points, he does ridiculous damage.
Oh really?
Well, he did pretty. That was pretty good damage. You did like 600 to both of them.
Yeah. But is it? It's dependent on how much health.
Yeah, the lower his
Snoop
health
Froggy
is,
Frog
the
has.
more damage that does.
Okay. Fuck.
Do you have Luminaire yet?
Do I have what?
Luminaire?
No. I don't think so.
You are a little bit behind, I think, in terms of tech points, because you should probably have Luminaire by now.
Is that a frog thing?
It's Chrono's last skill. You got to be getting close, because I think you have life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're almost there. If you had Luminaire, this fight would be a lot easier. I would say,
These fuckers.
you know what you could do is, you have all those vests that restore your hit points based on what element gets hit. So you could equip one of those and only use that element.
Would it?
You know what I'm saying? Like you could equip the white vest on somebody and then use lightning damage. And then every time they copied that skill, your character that had that vest would get. Did you end up with multiples of them by getting them in the later timeline and then going back to the earlier timeline?
No. No, I have the red vest is the only one I have, and I don't have anybody who uses fire magic with me.
No. I think you can change characters at that save point. If you go to that one on the far, you might even be able to. You might be able to change characters at any time, actually. Go in there, go in the menu, and go. There you go.
This is spin. Oh no, salt is fire.
Yeah, salt has fire. I think you should have at least somebody that has the maybe Isla has the fire absorb vest on. Cause she was in your party when you were fighting the tyrant.
Oh, I have it. I have the red vest.
Put that on Chrono, and then he can cast life to bring people back. And put the fire cutting thing down, and then use like fire dual text or something. Then you can kind of control how much damage they're doing to you.
Sounds good. We'll go with that. Wait, let me make sure that I don't have a better a better setup for mist salt. Shockwave. Oh, there we go. That's.
I think. I should have been watching more closely. I was browsing E3 stuff, but I think if you switch attacks really fast, you might be able to confuse them. I think they have to spend a turn to change what attack type they're using. So if you use like lightning, then fire, then water, they would just be switching attacks all the time and not get as many hits in.
Oh, maybe.
But use like fire sword or something and have Frog heal.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, well that thing you did was physical attack, so that's why they are crushing you with the physical attacks, so don't use physical attacks.
Okay. Jesus Fucking Christ.
I would say just toast yourself and then use a fire attack right off the bat next time.
Yeah. What is that thing with the 5 balls that they keep? Is that a physical attack?
That's them copying your physical attack. That seems pretty strong. I don't know how much damage their magical attacks do, but it would be worth just like busting out that fire spell right off the bat, and then just keep hitting them with fire while you have whoever your best healer is heal up. Luca's at like about the same level, right, as everybody else. Yeah, she's like a couple behind. Check your text and see how far away from Luminaire you are.
I don't even know how to check that. How do I check that?
Back out of here. Go to tech. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, go back up over to 1. Oh, there you go. Now go into that menu and go all the way down. I need 274. You're pretty close. If you had killed 1 or 2 more of those things on the mountain, you would be there probably.
Oh, the rock monsters or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they hide, man.
You could do this. Save before you do this.
Yeah, too late.
Too late.
You're on a bit of a delay, but that's fine. If I do it again, I'll save again. And after this fight, I think we might wind this episode down because we're getting to about an hour here. Actually, more than that if you include the shit that we didn't record at the beginning. But let's get through this fight.
You can do it, Joe. I believe in you. In you, not on you. Knock you down and stand on you. I wonder if does the counter attack trigger the physical attack? Try Fire Sword. See if that puts him in fire mode or physical mode.
Except they killed her immediately, so
it'd be faster, man.
Cool.
Or just hit him with a lightning attack with Chrono since he's your fastest character, and at least they won't be doing the physical attacks.
Yeah, that's true. Nope, except he's dead now too. Jesus.
Getting wrecked by the twin golems. I definitely think Joe can do this. He had to mute his microphone for a second, but he'll be right back.
Okay. Alright, let's change these. Let's do this shit and then save, so if I have to do this again. And that's not a thing. Oh, I also didn't actually change anybody's gear last time, so...
Oh, yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, if you're gonna try and get some... What's the... Now you want him to have... I would put the one that absorbs fire on Chrono. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't...
Alright. Alright, let's try this again. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, her speed is too slow. I wonder, like I said, I wonder if the counter attacks are triggering them to hit, or maybe they just do that before they try hitting them with a lightning attack first, and then hit them with fire when Luca gets her turn, since she's so much slower than Chrono.
Yeah.
Do you have a speed boosting accessory you could put on Luca? She might be like
Probably.
she and Robo are the two slowest characters in the game. I'm pretty sure.
I have a speed belt.
You have one that makes you even faster?
I don't. Maybe?
Might be on somebody else.
Bandana, speed +1. I don't think so. Snoop has a power glove, Chrono has a rage band.
Do you, like, as soon as Chrono gets his turn, bust out a lightning too? And that should let you at least get to the later part. Then have Frog heal, and then cast Fire too, and then maybe you can start getting some Fire Swords off after that.
Yeah.
Because it seems like you're losing this fight in the first 30 seconds every time.
Well, since they automatically apparently both get to attack before any of my people.
There you go.
Nope. It's just... Okay. That does like nothing.
I mean, that's not bad damage, but it'll keep them from hitting you with a physical attack. I don't know how much the water attack's gonna do, but that's only an ice 1. That's not very bad. I bet next time they hit you with a heavier, like ice 2, maybe. But yeah, so you gotta get them into elemental mode real fast, because it seems like it's the physical attacks that are fucking you up real bad. Lightning. Do lightning. Switch the... You're toast.
Nope.
Is there a... Do you have the cursor set so it remembers the last thing that you picked?
I think so. Is that a setting? Oh.
I think so.
I feel like the last fight was way not this difficult for me, but I don't know.
Nah, you beat the Giga guy really easily. I think you beat him on your first try too, didn't you?
Yeah,
Get that lightning out.
I did, but again, they of course get to attack before.
Yeah, but if you
Any
do
of my
this, then
people.
they'll only do one lightning attack. That probably won't kill anybody. And you can have Frog heal, and then you can cast Fire too. Or do your fire. I would. Well, either or, I guess. Maybe alternate between fire and lightning.
Yeah. No, let's see.
I don't. I wonder if they both switch when you.
It also does a shitload of damage.
Yeah. Yeah, copy fire technique. So now Chrono's gonna get a heal, and Luca won't take a ton of damage, and you can heal with Frog, hopefully.
That's the idea.
Oh, see, that guy's still doing lightning.
Yeah.
It still isn't.
We're gonna fix that in a second.
Yeah, that still isn't anywhere near as much as as they were doing physical damage,
attack.
where they were doing over 350 per hit, and both of them were getting a turn in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be all right.
Yeah. Seems like this is much better.
It's all about the 6 strategies, man. I think I said that when you first started this game, that some of the bosses are like that, where
Once you
they
know.
can be really, really difficult unless you have a good strategy for them, and then once you figure out the strategy, they're not that bad. Or fire sword that shit.
I will, man, but give me a second. I don't know if that counts as a fire attack.
Napalm? Yeah, it should.
Yeah, copy fire. Yeah.
I don't know why you did that when you had fire sword, but
Because Chrono wasn't his turn yet, man.
you totally could have used fire sword when Luca was on her turn. I know what's going on. By the time she's got her next turn, Chrono will be there probably. Hold, hold. Fuck him up.
Booyah.
Bring it straight to you.
That's right.
Booyaka, booyaka. At least in the counterattack, it doesn't seem. It appears not to trigger them hitting with physical, so.
No. That's right.
As long as I keep casting fire, you can't lose this fight.
That's true. That's true.
It'll be Chrono against them one-on-one, and you have to keep reviving Luca with life, but... Nice. Yeah, that does nothing.
Yeah, the physical attack does way more than...
The physical attack does 350 plus per hit, and that wasn't even doing 150 total across your whole party.
Yeah.
You might want to hit that other dude.
Yeah.
Sword.
I tried last time and it didn't move the cursor.
Oh yeah, sure. Blame the controller.
I don't know that I'm blaming the controller necessarily.
Uh-huh. This game's
Sort of blaming the game.
The programming in this game is shit. They say don't blame the player, blame the game, or don't hate the player, hate the game. But in this particular instance, I think that's probably the player.
Probably. Unless they're not close enough together for the flame world to get them both.
Can't target their hands.
No, apparently not.
It's like Soldier of Fortune, just can cut that hand off.
Yeah, fuck you.
You can name it whatever you want. Nice. See, that fight was super easy. I don't know why you were having so much trouble.
Fuck you.
He's got a basic pattern awareness. Pattern recognition. Whatever. I knew you could do it. I just had to tell you how.
Copying Dalton.
Oh, he's spitting out his toxic cloud as he dies. The earthworm gem arm.
Assault learned fire too. Yep. Red pin. Fire sword. Delta storm. Yeah.
It's 3 different. I think that's actually a super cool looking triple tech, but I don't know that it actually does that much damage. Could this be?
Well, my work will be in vain if I expire before I'm immortal.
Well, yeah. I mean, if that's your whole goal is to become immortal, and then you die
dying
before you become immortal,
yeah.
then you're in trouble. You done fucked something up.
Yeah, shit.
That new is getting the fuck out.
Yeah, shit.
Gonna nosedive into the inky blackness.
Uh-oh. Help.
She is a straight Scala. She's learned it in the ways of the street.
I threw that knife right in there.
The creation of the Masamune. That is one massive moon.
That's no moon. Fire porcupine from hell. Or space. Whatever. Space fire porcupine. Dude, I don't like the look of this.
Destruction rains from the heavens. He done fucked you up. How you gonna win this boss battle, Joe?
I don't know.
That's such a terrifying noise.
Hey, I know that guy.
It's Janice, the annoying little 12-year-old goth twerp. Feel my wrath. You are but the crunching of Doritos to him.
So how did Magus end up back here?
He got sucked through the time portal, and when you defeated him.
When I defeated him, yeah, okay.
Right. You guys ended up in 65 million BC, and he ended up here, I think. What? Doesn't work, but it does twerk. Get him, Lavos. Turn that shit around and work it.
No fiery space porcupine's gonna kill you, Magus. I'm gonna kill you. Oh, I can move. Okay. So you are Dr. Dre.
Bet you forgot about Dre. Unwavering faith in science. It's crumbling.
Desist, Dr. Dre. I'm not altogether sure what Dre is up to. All I can say is that if he's got his Nina, then I know he's straight tripping.
He's fighting Lavos and losing.
It seems that way. Arg. We must plan our escape. That's how I escaped my certain fate. I ran out the door. Please don't hate Mother or our kingdom, even though we tried to, like, destroy the planet. But don't hate us.
We put all the non-magic users on a ghetto in the middle of a fucking Arctic wasteland.
And then try to destroy the planet with a space porcupine.
Trapped anyone that opposed us on floating mountains in the middle of the ocean. But don't hate us. We used to be pretty good. We were corrupted by the power of Lavos. That's what happens, Joe, if you embrace socialism.
It's a cautionary tale. It's like Animal Farm, really.
Yeah. Lavos it's just like a metaphor, man, for like communism. Whoops. Maybe it wasn't such a great idea to float half of the world's landmass up into the sky.
Yeah. That falling to the earth certainly wouldn't cause like an extinction level event. We're so fucked.
Get your surfboards. Trying to shred the gnar, bro.
Bodhi just wanted to
just surf and rob some banks, man. Just wanted enough money so we didn't have to. Yeah.
Hold it, Dr. Dre. Didn't Dr. Dre just get vaporized? You were delicious. I mean, delirious. We found no one else.
Fried his legs in butter. Sorry, Frog.
Is this Earthbound Village? No, that's a different game.
It's the only village.
Milk y'all. Wait, didn't he just what happened to the 6-4?
It scratched my ride, did you?
All right, and this is going to end this extra long episode of On the Stick Plays. Actually, I might split
Scratch
this into
old
two.
Bessie, then I'm waging war.
Yeah, I might just split this into two, honestly.
What is it, like an hour and 20 minutes? Doesn't seem like, too bad.
No, but we're planning for an hour and 20 minutes, but I don't know. Who knows? It'll either be, if it was 2, then if it's 2, I'll put it. I'll drop me talking in between. If not, then
oh boy, more of you talking.
I know people can't get enough of it. So I'm gonna save this game, and then we'll be done. So you should check out everything else we do at onthestick.com. We stream on Wednesdays.
Stand here and listen to this music for a while.
You could do that too. That I wouldn't fault you for that. Check it out on onthestick.com. All this stuff we do. We've got Alfred Hitchcock podcasts and wrestling podcasts and all kinds of stuff going on there. Video content on this very YouTube channel. All the other stuff we do. There's shows with puppets and talking about video games and all kinds of shit. So check all that shit out. We stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, and we'll talk to you next time.
I was gonna look up Corridors of Time on YouTube, but I think I still have that shit in my iTunes. I'll just listen to that.
Sounds good. Bye.